over in Great Britain they call these trams.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, folks. I'd like to welcome you all out to the Orange Empire Railroad Museum. How many first-timers do I have here? Looks like we got everybody. Okay. Anyway, give you kind of a brief rundown of what we're all about.
Are we gonna go again?
And we started back in 1956. Some young men, many of them teenagers. There's 12 to be exact. And some of them are just over 21 wanted to start preserve what's left of street railways in Southern California. And back in the 50s, a lot of them were just disappearing fast as more and more lines went over to the motor coach, or buses as we refer them to, or gutter liners, or stink buggies.
Stink buggies?
Well, the trolley fans called them stink buggies. Anyway, they got their resources together, and they bought land out here in Paris. At that time it was dirt cheap. Watch kids try to do that, what these guys did. There's no way you could do it. Your money went further in those days. Paris is way out in the sticks. I mean, there's practically nothing. As a matter of fact, this is an old potato farm. So amongst us members, we always call this the trolley farm or simply the farm. They bought 5 acres. They had a couple work flats and a trolley car from San Diego. And we've grown to maybe about 100 plus acres. We probably got about 1,000 members. Any given day, there's about 50 volunteers there. People like myself. There's people that keep in the grounds, and just about everything you see here is all done by volunteer labor, except that has been contracted out. That's going to be our new library and archives building. It's going to be the Harvey Grove Meeting Hall. Okay, to point out a few things to you folks, see that red building? That's the Grizzly Flats Engine House. That was by a gentleman named Ward Kimball, who was Walt Disney's pal. They were both a couple steam nuts. And Mr. Ward Kimball gave Disneyland the inspiration to build that fabulous theme park that we know as Disneyland. Mr. Kimball actually had his own railway in his backyard, 800 feet of track, 3-foot gauge. And he bought a steam engine and a coach for a princely sum of $500 during World War II. Amazingly, because a lot of worn out equipment went for the scrap drive. But all his equipment is on our property now. He passed away since. And before he passed away, he wanted to have a home for his railroad. So he constructed that barn, and then also there's a turntable that he financed. We had that replicated after one over in Law, that's called a gallows type turntable. Notice it kind of looks like gallows for hanging. But actually what it's doing is hanging the rest of the structure. They got some truss rods on it. So it's hanging something right now. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take you around and tell a little bit about this car we're riding in. This object right here, that's a transfer table. Finally, there's some plans to get to use that thing. This serves the same function as a turntable at a roundhouse, except that it goes down a pin and there's series of shop zones on each side. And when they want to put a car they desire installed, here they use a little switch it, and it'll shut the car on and off. Transfer table into the appropriate stall. One of the Pacific Electric used for all these years was an old cut-down yellow double-decker bus. Unfortunately, that engine no longer survives. Okay, tell a little bit about this car. This car is built in 1921 for the Los Angeles Railway. It's built by St. Louis Car Company. And this is the first car they bought was made out of steel. Cars prior to that time were largely made out of wood, steel being a much more durable material. So there's 250 of these cars built. Also, this is known as a California type car. You got an open section as well as a closed section. Since temperatures in LA very seldom get below 40 degrees, there's no heaters. So if you were riding at night, riding in the closed section, close the door, and body heats enough to keep the interior of the car nice and toasty warm. Likewise, there's no air conditioning except what you call 440 air conditioning. 4 windows at 40 miles an hour, like a 47 Chevrolet, or for our British guests here, your old Austin 10s.
Yeah.
Now you get the idea. Of course, this has got a lot more windows, and this goes less than 40 miles an hour, but you got the idea. These cars were pretty much gone by 1958. 50 of them went to South Korea for further use in Seoul. All the others went over to Turtle Island to be scrapped. Even some of those scrapped ones became artificial reefs. They just merely dumped them off the ocean, provided a fish habitat. I think the cars have pretty much been eroded away by now. Salt water does magical things to steel, as you know. This car was donated to City of Inglewood and put on display at Centennial Park. Wasn't very long until little darlings have trashed the car. I don't know what it is about kids and destroying things, but they seem to have a tendency to do that. And before long, our members, early members, were offered this car. You guys want this car? Come and get it, because we're going to have it cut up for junk. So they collected the car. It sat at Travel Town for a while, and they brought it out here. And this car was a mess, as you can imagine. This is one of our first team efforts of restoring the car.
Right.
So this is approximately what the car looked like back in 1921. There must be another print there. I saw the T-shirt with one of the streamlined steam locomotives that's over in your country.
We got everywhere.
Uh-huh.